All righty then. Hello, everybody. Hi. All right, so we are live. We are doing our program information session tonight. My name is Lisa Callahan, and I am the founder of the Women's Emotional Eating Community Support Group. I am here on a live session, and I want to be able to share with you our program that is meant to help women identify their invisible emotional relationship with food through taking a journey of self-discovery. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'll also keep my camera on so you guys can see me and interact, and we can just get this party started. If anybody has any comments to share or anything, we can go ahead and put those in the chat. And I will be able to see the chat. I'm going to pull it up right now. So if anybody has any comments to make or anything, we can just kind of communicate together. But for right now, we're going to get this party started. So this is called the Crush That Food Thing information session. And if you're here, it's because you want to end decades of emotional eating habits. You want to get off of the diet binge cycle. You know in your heart and soul that it's not about the food. You want to understand the root cause of your problems. You're tired of trying things that don't work, and you are looking for a life transforming experience. And I really want you to think about that, because sometimes we can get stuck in a mindset where we think that things are working, and yet we kind of know that they're not, and yet the unknown becomes very fearful. So we keep doing the Groundhog's Day, and we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it's just not working for us anymore. And yet we don't know any other way, and we don't know how to get out of it. So you're looking for a life transforming experience. You're also in the right place if you've been on more than a dozen diets, if you've been stressing about your body weight and body image for more than a decade, if you're constantly thinking about food, if you're beating yourself up mentally for making mistakes that you have maybe made in the past. And if you're eating randomly, even when you're not hungry, or you're stuck in a pattern that's been carried over from your childhood. So I want you to think about all of those things, and then decide if you want to watch this this training. Really, it's not really a training, it's really an information session. It's a way to meet and greet, it's a way to get to know me a little bit better, and it's a way to understand if what we're offering here in Crush That Food Thing is the right fit for you. And it's okay if it's not. Everybody is on a journey. And if I had met myself 10 years ago, trust me when I say that within the first 10 minutes of this, I probably would have turned it off, because I wasn't ready for self-discovery. And that's important to know what self-discovery is, and to be able to see if it's the right fit for you. So what we're going to go over tonight, we're going to be here for about 45 minutes or so. What I'm going to cover is I'm going to cover the history of Crush That Food Thing Self-Discovery System. What is Crush That Food Thing Self-Discovery System? A program breakdown, how to know if it's right for the right fit for you, and then we can always leave time for some Q&A. So here's the history of Crush That Food Thing. And I want to go through it because I created the program. So it's just my program. It's nothing that I've read in a book. It's nothing that I had gotten a concept from taking a class, or doing anything that was structurally aligned with exactly the fit of how this program works. So basically, just to share like a little bit of my background, childhood shaped me, my teenage years molded me, motherhood conditioned me, divorce broke me, and self-discovery freed me. So I want to take you through a little bit of a history, and I'm going to share a little bit of personal information, and I always do, because there's a trust that's been built within myself to know that I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to hide myself anymore. I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not. And I am full of mistakes. And I am also full of curiosity about why I made those mistakes. And I have developed a new foundational relationship with myself. And because I've done that, I love to share openly, because I know that we're all the same, meaning that we're all trying to figure out what causes us to tick, and how we do things that seem to make no sense, and how we end up in certain circumstances and certain places over and over and over again, and how to free ourselves from that. So this story will take you kind of down that timeline. So when I was a little girl, I kind of got the idea in my head that I was fat from the time I was pretty young. And it started just by me seeing other girls. Also, I had an older sister. She was quite tall and slender, and there were some things that happened along the way where I got teased for being a bubble butt, and I had very thick legs, like they were muscular. I was always broad. I had been told as a child that I was hefty and zoftic, and zoftic kind of means like thick, and had just gotten this idea that like this was how I am. And so coming from that place and then going into those teenage years, now I never dieted when I was a kid. I never binged when I was a kid. In fact, if anything, I really enjoyed eating like food that was meant to help me. I always had this thought in my head that if like carrots were good for your eyes, then I wanted to eat carrots. And if like milk does the body good, I was very influenced by commercials and by things. And so I always wanted to do like the right thing for my body. I felt that that was important from the time I was a really little girl. But then as a teenager, you can go through somewhat of that awkward stage. I developed at a very young age, probably 9 years old. I started my menstrual cycle when I was like 11, so pretty young. And because of all of those young hormones and stuff that were changing inside of me, I also like got thicker. And some of the girls at my age of 11 were still like these little bean poles. They hadn't developed yet. They hadn't become womanly yet. And I did really young. So at a young age, I really started to dislike myself. And I mean, like really dislike myself to the point where I was very abusive to myself. I would pull my hair, I would hit my thighs, I would grab the stomach, the skin, and I would just look in the mirror, and every day I just told myself how much I hated myself. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And so once I got out of that and I did start to work out and I got into the health and fitness world, and I had something happen even in that space when I was about 16, 17. And I realized that something about my food was related to how I looked. And because my looks were so important to me, and I started to realize as I worked out that I could really control my body, and I could really like work out, and like, it felt really good. Yet at the same time, I took it to the next level, and I took it to this place where I then used food and exercise to hurt myself. So with this amazing thing that's supposed to be so good, I didn't care about my health. I didn't care about what plastic foods and pills and things that I was putting in my body. As long as I looked good, or as long as I had the image that I looked good, that all was well. But at the same time, I was literally destroying my body inside, like destroying it, destroying my gut, my heart. I had heart palpitations. I was taking herbs that sped up my metabolism. And because I was taking those herbs, like my heart would be racing all the time, and I didn't care. Like I just wanted to do whatever was like low cal diet food, make sure that I was just skinny mini, and then I could keep that weight off. In addition, I also would like do hours upon hours of exercise and such, just to make sure that I was counterbalancing any chance that I could ever gain a pound. And so for those years when I hated myself so much, and then I started to get this vision of myself being like slender and thin and fit and all that stuff, it really continued my hatred for myself, because now I kind of locked myself into this piece where it was like, oh, I'll like you a little bit, but you have to look like this. And so I judged myself, and I didn't realize how bad that got over the years. And it really, really did get to the point where I was absolutely out of my mind with overwhelm about exercise and my diet. And so then, as I became a mom, things didn't get any better after that with my eating habits. In fact, if anything, they got worse, because I became extremely hypocritical, because now I had little people to take care of. And so I wanted to do everything perfectly for them. I wanted to do everything perfectly for my family. And there was a lot of, let me show the world this, and then let me do that. And so that part was the part that I only kept for me. And I don't know really if my family ever really knew what I was doing, but I was binging, and then I was purging with exercise. I didn't purge with, the typical purging, I suppose, but I purged with over exercise. And so it became this like, and then I also purged, or I kept myself kind of like locked into a sort of a secret world where I was really limiting my calories. I was always on a diet. I was always trying to control everything. And in fact, I even went so far as to make it like a career, really, because I was a trainer, and then I became a triathlete, and I loved those days. I really did. There was so much good, so much good. But the parts of it that weren't good for me were the parts where I was kind of secluding myself and trying to be so perfect, and then not let anybody see me shoveling 30 cookies into my mouth, because nobody knew that part of me. Nobody. There was times when I allowed myself to say, oh, let's go get a pizza, or let's go get Taco Bell or something. And that I would allow. But then there was a lot of parts that I didn't allow anybody to see me. And those parts really damaged my relationships with other people, my husband, my children, because it put me into this very specific world of perfectionism. And when I had used food to betray myself, and I couldn't keep the control any longer, because it was just like bubbling up in me, I wasn't that nice. I would snap, I would be emotional, I would get people's heads off like really fast. And so I became a different version. Like, unless I could keep myself really like this perfect image, I ended up becoming somebody that I didn't really like very much. And I did things in my life that I'm not very proud of. So it's this like overwhelming like feeling of self-sabotage. And I did that. I did that to myself, and I did that to others. So once my whole world sort of crashed down, and I did choose to divorce, it was like this whole epiphany, really, where it was like, oh, how did that happen? And all the stuff that I was blaming on everybody else, ended up really being me. And so then I was alone, and I was still binging, and I was still doing all this stuff, and nothing was easier. Nothing. Like, the things that I thought were just so hard because of everybody else, I ended up alone, and they were harder, and I was alone, and I had done it all to myself. And so when I came into that space, finally a friend had told me, he said, Lisa, I really feel like you would benefit from this class. And he asked me to take it. And they say that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And these 2 coaching courses really set me free. And so I want to give credit to where credit is due. So I took a course with Your Infinite Life coaching company, and you can look them up online. I think it's online at Your Infinite Life or something like that. You'll find it. Anyways, but they have amazing classes, and they have some amazing courses online. And I know that the first one that I started with was called Freedom to Be. And after taking Freedom to Be, I left that class. Oh boy, I was emotionally just spent and drained, and it was it was life-changing, honestly. And I didn't even know that I needed a life change or that I wanted one. But again, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so when I took this class, one of the biggest things that I got out of it, and I got a lot out of it, one of the biggest things that I got out of it was the way that I was thinking wasn't the only way to think, and that some of my thoughts were actually meant to keep me stuck. And so with that being said, I launched into almost like a career of self-discovery, because I was like, okay, I got to get to the bottom of this. And like, what thoughts do I have in my head that are making me do these things that I'm not happy with, I'm not proud of, I don't like myself, I'm not being good to other people, and I'm separating myself from the world as a human being. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it anymore. I was exhausted. And I'm sure that I exhausted every other person in the world that was in my space. So I took a lot of courses from Your Infinite Life. And as I started to go through them and I started to think about a direction of my life and even my career and what I wanted to do with my life, and how I had like built this career and this life around athletics. And I was like, gosh, like I want to think more. I want to feel more. I don't want to just go all the time and then eat and then have to exercise. And it was drowning me. It really was drowning me. And so suddenly, again, the Institute of Integrative Nutrition had been in my email box, literally in my emails, for like 6-7 years. And that's why I say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, because I never looked at those emails. Now, I didn't unsend them either. Like they just always came, and it was like I was just used to them coming, I never opened one, but I was used to them coming. And then one day I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what I have to do. And I clicked on the email, and the next thing you know, I had launched. And this was an expensive endeavor. It was a lot of money to take this course, but I just knew that I had needed to make the investment in myself, because I had to be the most important person in my universe. I did. I had always put others first. I'd always thought that I was putting others first anyways. And yet at the same time, a lot of that was a cover up. A lot of that taking care of everybody else was a cover up to not take care of myself in the way that was serving me best. So after taking your Institute of Integrative Nutrition and becoming a health coach, the next 6 years, I was still just developing a plan and learning how to build a new foundational relationship with myself. And that's an interesting piece, because when you're building a new foundational relationship with yourself and you're discovering new things about yourself that you did not know before, you have to like practice getting good at building that foundation up. So you have to be able to like kind of add to it and add to it and add to it and make it strong. And the only way to be able to do that is to be able to let go of some of the old thoughts, because you can't have both. You can't stay stuck in an old thought pattern and build a new foundational relationship with yourself. You just can't do both. So all of a sudden, it came to my mindset, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to teach people like how to eat and how to take care of themselves and how to nurture themselves and how to love themselves. And so for the next 6 years, I really developed an abundance of different programs and feelings and practices and such. And Keep It Clean Lifestyle Management was born. And what Keep It Clean was I got an idea that I wanted to take, like, I don't know, people, clients, whatever. And I wanted to share with them every single day for 365 days. I had made a commitment because I knew in my heart and soul that it was going to take a year to really build through this foundation with myself. And I couldn't coach others yet if I hadn't really figured out my own stuff, that's just important. So I took this opportunity and I I think I charged like $5 a month or something like that. I don't know. And I gathered a group of like 40 women, and they were part of this Keep It Clean lifestyle management group. And what my commitment was that every day for a year that I was going to coach them and teach them, and they were going to be learning recipes and feelings and how they were supposed to feel about themselves, and like boosting themselves up and giving themselves positive confidence and energy, and like thinking about things through a wider picture, and it was the journey of self-discovery. And I decided to do it in this way because as I'm teaching, I'm also learning. So it was a really cool piece for me. And if you go back in the Women's Emotional Eating Community Support Group and you type in 2015, you will see every day there are big long posts made. It was like a blog, and you'll see that it would be like day, I don't know, day 200, week, whatever. And I literally every day woke up in the morning and just like wrote, it's got grammar mistakes and all kinds of stuff. But it was from my soul. And it allowed me to heal, and it allowed me to teach at the same time as I was healing. So it was really cool. So with that being said, mistakes are the key to success. And that really is the piece, is that I made tons of mistakes during that time. It's just that I was learning. And so during this time, I became restless. Like after that year, and I did Keep It Clean, like I was kind of like, now what? Like, what do I do? Like the women, like it was a year and they were all still with me, but I didn't know what to do with them anymore. It was like, okay, well, we did this. And so I let it go, and I kind of closed shop. I kept it going, and I ended up, in fact, if you go through a little bit more, like 2015, 2016, 17 even, you'll see lots of pictures of like food and like my dog Bailey, and like I just kind of made the site like open to everyone. So instead of just being those 40 women, like I invited a bunch of other people, and maybe I had like, I don't know, 200 people in there or something, and like I would just post recipes and share pictures of my dog with the recipes and whatever, and you know, just to promote like clean eating and all that stuff. But I really became restless. I had an idea, and I didn't know how to get it out into the world. And I didn't really even know that it had to do with emotional eating. And that's the interesting piece, because when the Women's Emotional Eating Community Support Group was born, which was only 2 years ago, you know, piecing the timeline together now, what had really happened was that I was doing all this stuff, and I had started to do life coaching with just random clients. So I took anybody, men, women, children, like it didn't matter. And I was just helping people to see a new way to look at things. So as opposed to always being like in a narrow mindset, or working off of your fears, like how to work in love, and how to trust yourself, and how to build a new relationship with yourself. But it didn't have anything to do with emotional eating. I helped a lot of people, dozens, I guess, you know, it was like in my local area. So people started referring people to me, and I built up a nice little practice, a nice little business. But, you know, it was like 20 people, 30 people. I don't know. It was a handful. And I was just felt like, wow, like I want to help more people. Like, what do I do? And just probably like I came to you through Facebook, through email, through something, I had a coaching company that popped into my inbox. I started to follow it, and I was like, wow, like this feels right to me. So I took a leap of faith, big leap of faith, and because it was very expensive, and I just did it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I have nothing to bring to the world. Like, I don't even know what. I have a following of like 200 people. I don't really have an email list. I don't have anything. I don't know. I have like clients, like I'm really sort of popular in my little area in South Florida, but it's like a little area, you know? So yeah, a lot of people in my little athletic world know my name, know who I am. Great and all. I definitely wasn't all over the internet. So it's an interesting piece, because again, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and this company was meant to teach me. And so as we were going through this, and trust me when I say that I knew that I knew I was a good coach. I knew I was passionate about what I wanted. I just didn't know what it was because, the food part, it was nice and all, but it didn't fill me up. It didn't fill my cup up. It didn't seem to fill my purpose. Now, I had fixed my emotional eating habits along the way. I didn't really talk about it. I never really mentioned it to anybody. It kind of just like let it go away. It was like I used to have it. And then when I developed a new relationship with myself and I started to realize why I was using food, because I was using food to keep feeling guilty. And then I did a lot of stuff that I should feel guilty about. And I kept reversing. So it was like I would try and be good. And then like my mind in my subconscious was being like, oh no, you can't feel good. You're supposed to feel guilty. And then I would eat a box of cookies and sure enough, I'd feel guilty. And so it was this like big toggle back and forth and back and forth. And when I fixed it through the journey of self-discovery, I didn't like purposely do that. Like there was no coach, there was a couple of influencers in the game for sure. But there was nobody that was like, hey, Lisa, you have a binge eating disorder and this is how you're going to fix it. Like nobody said that to me ever. So when I was in this coaching company and I started they give you like a guide to be able to like write out your story and to be able to see what your story is so that you can develop an ideal client that will match what it is that you want to coach. Because I was a jack of all trades. I did everything. Anybody come in, you have a problem, I'll help you. I would do anything and everything. Honestly, like I coached swimming for triathlon. I'm not a great swimmer, so it was kind of funny. And B, there was one time that parents came to me and said, we want you to teach our 3-year-old and 5-year-old to swim. I said, I don't do that. And they said, no, we just moved here. You were highly recommended, whatever. I said, I don't teach kids. Yes, but you're the only one that we want to go to and whatever. So can you do it? And I was like, okay. So I Googled YouTube videos of how to teach little kids how to swim. And you know what? I taught those darn kids how to swim. I was a jack of all trades, really. I could do anything. Just ask me, I'll do it, figure it out. This was something that I figured out on my own and never talked about it again. So as I was going through this program to help me bring a coaching program into the world, and I didn't know what it was, I realized that I had a story that was absolutely anchored in this emotional eating issue that I had. And again, I never talked about it. So all of a sudden it was like real. And suddenly I not only decided that I wanted to bring the women's emotional eating community support group to the world, but I also had to share my story with everybody because I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell my sister. I didn't tell my friends. I mean, like for me to come now, all of a sudden, I'm this great coach that's got like great eating plans and here's all the great food. And like everybody has never seen me eat 30 cookies. Wasn't something I was sharing. So for me to come out and to have to say this is what I've been doing, that was really hard. And that's why I want to help you, because this is really hard. And it is a secret in a lot of ways. I mean, it doesn't matter what you weigh, it doesn't matter, whatever. It's just like, it just matters that time with you alone, that time where you're eating privately and in not a way that is serving your best interest, that's difficult. That's hard. So, so this is how the group came. And this is me again, just to introduce myself a little more. So again, my name is Lisa Callahan, and I am a motivational health and life coach. And I'm the founder of Crush That Food Thing SelfDiscovery System. And I teach women how to build a new foundational relationship with themselves so that they can identify their invisible emotional relationship with food. So my passion is to empower women to regain a healthy relationship with food without dieting, without deprivation, and without damaging their social life. So as we move through this, and I just gave you the the history of how we got started, how I got started. So as we moved into away from the the pieces of the puzzle that seemed to be missing, Crush That Food Thing got born. And what Crush That Food Thing is it's a journey. It's an opportunity to be able to discover a new version of the truth. So it's an opportunity to be able to see things that have happened in your life, things that you are fearful of, things that you might get caught up in. And it's an opportunity to be able to take the things that you think you know already about yourself. And it's an opportunity to be able to take those things and to expand them into a thought where you're able to then look at yourself, and you're able to then look at your story, and you're able to decide for yourself which thoughts are meant to help you grow and which thoughts are meant to keep you stuck. And when you do this, you're allowing yourself to decide that it's not about the food. And so when you decide that it's not about the food, and when you'll allow yourself to take the time to discover the things about yourself that you're doing to stand in your own way, that's when you will decide that you're ready to take the journey of self-discovery. And self-discovery is really a journey to freedom. So we talk a lot about the difference between control and freedom. And we have to decide for ourselves that control is a very fear-based word, and freedom is love-based. So I want you to really think to yourself, like, is fear the thing that I want to live my life in, or is love the thing that I want to live my life in? And then you'll be able to navigate from there and be able to decide what serves your best interest. Trust me when I say that many, 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 many people will choose to live in fear because that's what they're familiar with. So sometimes it's easier to be uncomfortable than to be uncertain. And when I say easier, I don't mean it's actually easier. It's not. It's not. However, if that's what you've trained yourself to believe, well, then you'll tell yourself that it's easier simply because the other way seems so hard because you've never tried it before. And so this is what we teach you how to navigate through in your journey of self-discovery. So you'll end up being able to build a new relationship with yourself so that you can also build a new relationship with food. So Crush That Food Thing Self-Discovery System is a step-by-step proven system, and it is proven. Number one, it's proven by me. And number two, we've run probably maybe about, I want to say the wrong number, maybe close to 200 women through the program already. And it really is a proven step-by-step system. And it's designed to teach you exactly how to understand your cravings, what to do when your emotions begin to hijack you towards poor food choices. You effortlessly end up being able to lose weight simply because you're now eating to live, not living to eat. And that makes such a difference. So I've designed the Crush That Food Thing Self-Discovery System in a very specific way that challenges women to face their inner thoughts when it comes to emotional eating, that actually allows them to understand the root cause of the problem. So you can't possibly fail as long as you follow the steps, because we focus on what's going on underneath the food. Weight loss comes easier and faster to my clients, and it never feels like you're on a restrictive diet. So hang on, that is going to bug me. There we go. See, we fix mistakes as we go. So I coined the name Crush That Food Thing because when I was with my coaches who helped me to bring this program to life, we started to try and consider names. Now, I've looked up binge eating. I never was diagnosed with it, although that is 1,000% what I had, binge eating disorder. I also had something called orthorexia, which was where I specifically was very orthodox. It's a coined term. If you look it up, orthorexia. It was a coined term that was descriptive of a person who, it was descriptive of a person who was too orthodox about their eating habits. So let's say I had like a certain brand of stuff and I just had to have that specific brand. Well, if I think about it now, like I was too orthodox about it. I was too, like, I had to do it a certain way. And so because of that, I learned that I had binge eating disorder and I had orthorexia. So when I was going to name this program, I didn't want to name it something that was scary, because I don't know about you, but binge eating disorder and orthorexia seem pretty darn scary to me. And so I didn't want to name it anything like that. So I was talking to my coaches and I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I want to use the word crush because it's like, it feels like powerful. It's like, crush that thing, you know, crush it. And I said, and I don't know, it's just a thing. And my coach said, well, call it crush that food thing. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's what I did. So the way that you will know if you have a food thing is that you struggle on a daily basis trying to figure out what the heck to eat. You've literally been on one diet or another for more than a decade. You've been stressing about your body image since you were a teen, constantly thinking about food, what to eat, how much, how little, whatever. You've tried keeping track of your macros, counted your points, calories, eaten shakes, bars, special meal plans, only to end up in the same place again and again and again. You also feel like if you don't control every last morsel that passes your lips, that you'll lose total control and you won't be able to stop eating. You get mad at yourself and beat yourself up for overeating and wonder why you can't just eat like a normal person. You constantly fluctuate between strict eating and stress eating. You randomly eat even when you're not hungry, and you feel guilty throwing food away in the garbage. So you choose to eat it and then let it turn into garbage in your own body. And some stuff that's not on the slide here is that you also negatively talk about yourself. You're the first to give your shirt off your back for everybody else, but very seldom do you actually put on your own oxygen mask. And you tend to feel like if you don't, you know, it's got to be like this all or nothing. So there's no like in between, and there's so many thoughts that rummage around in your head all day long that you can't actually clear out enough space to get out of your own way. And because the thoughts are just like shooting at you. So a lot of times there's a semblance of either scatteredness or perfectionism, where it's got to be like a certain way. And so there's kind of like both ends of the spectrum. So in Crush That Food Thing, and remember, this is our program information session, so we're just talking about our program tonight. So we teach you how to crush your food thing by using 3 core pillars. The first one is the mindset reset. The second one is targeted self-discoveries. And the third one is invisible success habits. So let's talk about the first one, mindset reset. So before we can go any further, we need to fix the reason why everything you've tried to fix this problem before now has failed you long-term. And without fixing this critical piece, everything that comes next will not work to its fullest potential. And the changes that you're looking to make will eventually stop. So we use key strategies that flip the switch on restriction and the endless internal chatter revolving around willpower, and we'll work to rewire your thoughts and behaviors around food so that you can confidently move forward, making choices that feel both good in the moment and long-term. And you'll stop feeling good or bad in relation to your food choices, and you'll no longer have the option to fall off the wagon. So that's how the first part of the program starts. The second part is targeted self-discoveries. So we'll move into targeted self-discoveries, and here you'll follow the exact steps to implement the things that you're going to be learning about yourself into real life on a day-to-day basis. And I'll make sure that you're equipped with the tools, the skills, and the strategies to make the exact right choices to quickly understand how to stop emotional eating in its tracks. So this lets us get your mind and your body talking to each other, where you can naturally regulate your energy and balance your metabolism and keep you on the right path no matter what, even if it's family pizza night or you're heading to an all-inclusive vacation. So the self-discovery part, I'm seeing things. Okay, the self-discovery part, the reason why we have to do the mindset reset first is because without doing that part, you won't know what it is that you need to discover about yourself new. And then also for the self-discoveries part, we have to teach you how to implement this into your regular life, because like, listen, your family members, your work colleagues, your parents, your children, whatever, whoever you have in your world, they're used to you being a certain way. And sometimes we can get into somewhat of like a dependent, codependent situation, not saying anybody is codependent. It's just that sometimes we tend to be such nurturers and such givers that we really don't know how to set the boundaries for ourselves. And once you start to discover new things about yourself, you're gonna want to. You're not gonna have to. You're gonna want to start to develop that new relationship with yourself, which will mean that your response to things is going to be kinder to yourself. And that might feel wonky and awkward in your world for a hot minute. And that's okay, because then you'll be the influential piece of the puzzle that's helping to, reestablish the whole world around you, right? And it all starts with you. So once you learn how to respond to yourself in a way that serves your best interest, you'll help to influence the other people in your world. Right? And it all becomes like a ripple effect. So it's like a domino effect, and it starts with you. So once we finish the self-discovery portion, we move into invisible success habits. So finally, we'll tackle invisible success habits. And these are the ingrained behaviors and habits that will transition you from a short-term solution to long-term results that stick. And alongside of these invisible success factors, you'll also have the direct support and accountability that's so crucial to the success in creating and implementing new habits and patterns, especially when it comes to food. One of the biggest predictors of failure to conquer an emotional eating issue is trying to go at it alone. And studies show that people without a solid support system are much likelier to give up when they encounter the first hurdle. But by having me at your side and the rest of the support community to guide you and support you through working on challenges and roadblocks, you can push past all of these hurdles that might have stopped you in the past. Oh, I'm so happy that I am seeing these little mistakes. And that's a really amazing piece of the puzzle, is that we do have an amazing support community. So the support starts with, I'm just going to share Kelly. Kelly is our support coach. She is amazing. She came to us, we just remembered today that she has been in the program for about a year and a half. So since last June, I think. And it's interesting, Kelly started in the same exact position as anybody else did. Kelly has the same troubles, the same pieces of the puzzle. She's a palliative nurse and she lives in Prince Edward Island, Canada. She's the support coach of Crush That Food Thing, and she's also a client. And Kelly came to me in search of answers. She was frustrated and angry. She felt guilt and shame. She labeled herself for being her own worst enemy, impatient, sluggish, disconnected, and not happy at all with the way she looked. She told me that she was very busy and that she was always doing things for others and rarely doing things for herself. And she just felt like she was standing in her own way. So today she's not only crushed her food thing, but she's also the support system for over 100 women that we have run through our program. Kelly messages you every week and she checks in and she keeps me informed as well. And basically she does everything. She's amazing. The second person in our company here is an administrative assistant. Her name is Jane. Jane is our administrative assistant. She works behind the scenes. She keeps everything of our systems operating smoothly. And trust me, you don't want me running this part of the program. It's just not my jam. Jane lives in British Columbia, Canada, and she is also a client. So Jane came to me because she was extremely tired of either dieting or not dieting. She felt that she always needed to be in control, and that was even including her binges. This led her to feel like a failure, and she knew that deep down inside that she was using food to cover up feeling her feelings, like she didn't want to feel them. She told me that she knew that her method was just not working for her. She did not know at the time that she had to discover new things about herself, and she took that leap of faith. And it is a leap of faith. You know, we were just talking tonight in the coaching call, and one of the gals said, yeah, this is amazing and scary. And I said, yeah, and that's what's amazing about it, is that it's scary and you're doing it anyway, which we call something called nerve-sighted. So it's like nervous and excited. So today she's working with the Crush That Food Thing team, and she knows that she will never stop discovering new things about herself. So the next one is actually Patricia. Patricia actually just left our team, and we have Tara, and I just didn't realize that I needed to switch this slide, but let's go ahead and share anyways, because Patricia was part of the team for quite some time, and she's still a member, and she's still amazing, and she's just not on the team anymore. And when I do this again, Tara, who we actually just did an interview with, so that's kind of a cool thing to check out. But Tara is with us, and she is amazing too. I just don't have a slide made for her yet, so we'll just talk about Patricia. So she came to me after years after having a gastric bypass surgery, which was supposed to be a solution for everything. Little did she know that she would end up right back where she started, since she'd never addressed the root cause of the problem. And she told me that she did not feel good about herself. She was not feeling confident since she had retired, and that her identity and her self-worth were clearly lacking. So today she has made life-changing strides, and she's forgiven herself for past mistakes, works daily on trusting herself, connecting with herself, and loving herself. She knows that the journey of self-discovery is not a straight line. She's enjoying every moment of the twists and turns, and we're so happy to have her on the team. And even though she's not on the team, we were very happy to have her on the team. She is amazing. So Crush That Food Thing is for you if you want to be able to trust yourself around food without having to give up all the foods you love. You want a simpler way to achieve food freedom without having to be on a controlled diet for your entire life. You want to stop feeling like you have no power to stay true to yourself and to follow through with what you say you want, so that you don't have to beat yourself up every time you choose to have a few cookies. Like, it's okay to have a few cookies. And if you want to be able to feel like you can trust yourself around food, so you don't have to feel you're constantly wrestling yourself. So you showed up today because you are ready for a change, and you know that you need a whole new approach to this food thing in order to do so. So the only thing that you have to ask yourself now is, are you coachable? Because again, if you're the one thing that's standing in your own way and you're not coachable, that's okay. You'll be coachable at a point in your life that you're ready to be coached, and you'll know when that time is. The thing about it, though, is that if you never push yourself towards that ability to be able to learn something new, you'll always keep your fears protected. When you're keeping your fears protected, you will keep them protected, and you will not be able to learn anything new. So if that's the case, then there will be little that you will be able to do to help yourself. And so there you'll sit in the middle of the little circle, and that's okay. However, I also have to ask you how that's working for you. So, think about it, because this is how I can help you. And again, this is our program information session. So, if you haven't yet taken advantage of our clarity call, this is when you're going to want to do something like that. So I know that I'm not the only coach out there, and maybe you've worked with coaches or trainers before, and that's totally fine. I am 100% confident that I am the best at working with women who cannot trust themselves around food. And I'm also 100% confident that I can get you to figure out what's keeping you stuck in this vicious cycle, and that you will never have to go on another diet again. So I transformed my own life, and I'll help you transform yours too. And so if you're ready, this is what you will want to do next. You're going to want to schedule some time to talk. I will post the link in here. You can always PM me, DM me, send me an email, however you want to get in touch with me. But this is an important part, because I don't accept every single woman into the program, because not every single woman's ready. And that's okay. There's no like begrudges. There's no like, hey, why'd you waste my time? Nothing. The call is free. I'm happy to talk to you. So the call is free because this is my life mission. And literally my life's work is to support women to believe in themselves, to trust themselves, and to take a step forward in a way that doesn't involve getting, years of endless confusion and self-sabotage. So I have a core value in my business, and that's where I offer value first. I start off by just helping you with this, with this session and such, and then with this free call. And second of all, I know that there are many of you listening tonight that want more personalized support and accountability. And if you're someone who knows that in order for you to succeed, that you need that, great. We can discuss the next steps in the call. And if we determine that it's the right fit for you, I'll offer you an invitation to join Crush That Food Thing Self-Discovery System, and then we can determine if I'm the right fit to coach you. So it kind of works both ways. Like, you're making decisions for yourself. I'm going to help you to navigate through those decisions. I'm going to give you my honest thoughts about it. And if I'm not the right coach for you, trust me when I say this, I will direct you to the coach that will fit best for you and what it is that you're looking for. So remember that it's all about the value of the time that you're going to put in and give it to yourself. However, I also want you to decide for yourself, if you're going to take this call, that you have a mindset about your, space and what you want to achieve and what you want to do. So the call is for you if you're ready to stop doing all of the things that don't work, or the things that you think should work, and focus on the proven system that does work. And the call is also for you if you know that the road to success isn't straight, but it's windy, but you're committed. That's important. And the call is also for you if you want to learn about the connection between your thoughts and your actions, and you're willing to ask for support and accountability. And if you're tired of trying the things that don't work and that are getting short-term results, and that you're fed up with the excuses and are ready to trust the fact that it's time to learn something new. So that's why you'd want to book a call. Don't book the call though if you're not interested in the root cause of your problem and you're just looking for surface level solutions, which is like a diet. So I can help you get to a diet, or a nutritionist or whatever, just PM me, but we don't need to take a call to do that. If you're not looking to if you're looking for a quick fix, this is not a quick fix, I promise you. We will give you time to be coached in the program, and it's not a cookie cutter program. So it's not the same process for everybody. We do give you the same program that everybody else has, but then we coach you and we help you to navigate through your own story. So it's definitely not a quick fix. And I'm not telling you exactly what to do. I'm going to give you the tools to be able to build that new foundation for yourself. I'm going to help you develop a blueprint for yourself. That's what we do. We're not going to fit together as a coach, client, if your intention is to blame others for your problems. So we teach you how all problems have solutions. And so we have to be able to decide together what the problem is so that I can help you solve it. And if you're blaming others, then that won't be a good fit for us, period. Or if you insist on standing in your own way, you don't want to do anything to change your story. We just had a gal on the call tonight and we were good, I was like, okay, so this is where your thinking is. And if that's working for you, then fantastic. Now we have to see if it's not working for you, what's the problem? And she kind of was like, because she's at that messy middle part where it's like, but if I let go of this, then and there's a lot of different things that we have to coach her on. And we're going to stay with her and hold her hand until she's there, because that's what we do. And so if you're not open-minded to a new way of thinking, we won't be able to help you, because a closed mind cannot accept any new ideas. So it's not like you have to do what we say by any means. You have to come up with the ideas on your own. And so that's what coaching is about. And you don't have to book the call if you're not interested in taking the time and the energy to apply change to your life, or if you want to wallow in self-pity and shame and guilt and regret and blame. Because what we do is we help you to be able to identify where you're doing that, and then how to quickly shift out of it. Just a couple of Q&As. What if you can't find the time on the calendar? You can just send me a private message. We'll figure it out. If you're not 100% committed to signing up, don't worry about it. Book the call anyways. I work with plenty of different women in all different parts of their journey. Call's about 45 minutes. If you're shy and you don't know what to say on the call, no problem. I will lead the call and I will help you. It's a safe environment. And I am a kind and caring human being who knows what it's like to be in your shoes. And so you are very safe with me. No catch to the call, absolutely 100% free. And if you're the right fit for my program, I'll extend an offer to you. If not, I'll direct you to another coach. So, all right, ladies, that's me and my mama. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Just again, if you just tapped in for some reason late, you are in the Crush That Food Thing information session, and I will hopefully be chatting with you soon. All right, bye for now. Thank you. Bye now.